Good deal. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. I guess it's game time. I'm very excited to be here. It's like I say, you've always nothing like the excitement of the first game of the season and going through camp, and you come out of that grind and ready to play. So I've been very pleased with our team. Again, still lots of things to improve on and work on, but guys work very hard. Very good camp, very physical camp. A lot of things, offense, defense, and special teams we got in as far as schemes and going against each other, great competition throughout the month. And that's one of the things I love within the positions of offense against offense. I mean, position battle, but also battling against each other and getting each other better, and getting against high quality people on each side of the ball, and that's the way you get better. So very pleased with that process, and anxious to watch us get out and play a game, do things. And we got a great opponent, Kent State. Kent State was marvelous last year in what they did. Only played 4 games, but man, they averaged almost 50 points a game. 48-something a game. Dynamic on offense. Quarterback is back and very, very good player. I mean, you can see him play. I mean, makes very, very, very good decisions. Accurate with the ball. Really athletic guy too. You think as a pocket guy and throws it that well, and all of a sudden, man, he breaks down and runs, and you say, well, you can't get him on the ground. He's making plays. He's running yards. I mean, just a really good player. I mean, just knowing what to do, be around. Very talented arm, very accurate. The receivers. They got a really good group of guys. Got some transfers in. Got a guy in from Syracuse who's really good, who had a couple 80-yard touchdowns a year ago, led the ACC in punt returns from 82. And what he did, 25 is doing a great job when he is. Like I say, Nakeem was 82. 25 is Polk is excellent, can catch it, can run, change the direction, go with the ball in his hand before and after, knows how to get open, knows how to play. In that group, Dante Cephas, a receiver, doing a great job there. Up front, experienced. The tailback is not a giant guy, but man, he's quick, he's athletic, and he's strong. Some of the best tailbacks I've ever been around were not guys. I mean, some of the best ones we had at Florida State were guys who were actually shorter than I was, 5'7", 5'8", guys that could change direction, but were very powerful guys. He's the same way, man. He can catch it, can run. Up front, they're experienced. They do a good job. Their scheme, they know their scheme. They're going 100 miles an hour, no huddle. It's all tempo. They get the ball planted, they get it run, the runs, and RPO game, and shots down the field. They do a really good job. So very challenging. And then you read in camp, their defense has been outstanding and really been dominating the camp. And so they're an offense that has all those guys back, and their defense, they've got, the team has had 12 transfers that come in the offseason. In today's world, you can get quick, you can get really good quick and surf places and get depth and everything else. So I think in that regard, they've got some guys back on defense. Keith Sherrod, the safety who played a couple years ago, got hurt last year or didn't play last year. Him, and then he backed up by Carpenter, who was an outstanding player. They said safety come in from Maryland, Antoine Richardson, who's in there. The corners are back. Up front, 34, he's a big old 6'1", 274-pound linebacker. They blitz and bring and do things as athletic inside. Their depth, 28, Burke is a really good player. Clark now, he was 10 last year, now he's number 3, who's kind of that. In that defense they have, he's a linebacker, he's a safety, he's a hybrid guy. He's just a natural football player, man. Tackles well, very physical. Their 2 ends are very athletic and big. And Harmon and West, they're long inside. With the other CJ West is a big guy, 330. Diaby's 278. So, they do a good job. And it's constant movement, it's constant blitzes, constant edge pressures, interior pressures, mixed to coverage. Very, very tough team to go against in schematically in what they do and the personnel. And the team's won. They've had 2 back-to-back winning seasons. First time they've done that since, I think, the mid-'70s. And they had won the conference championship back in '73. So they're coming off. They're predicted to win their side. It's going to be a heck of a thing. And kicking game-wise, their punter is really good. He's coming back. The field goal kickers hit a 52-yarder the other day in a scrimmage. And what they did, the return game, like I said, they had the guy with the punt returns who led the ACC in punt returns. So it's going to be an extremely challenging kickoff return. So their kicking game is very good. They're very dynamic in their punt team, a lot of multiple formations. And they shift and around and move, and you have to know where guys are and eligibles are and all that stuff. They do a really good job. Their kickoff teams are very diverse in how they twist and stunt and do things, and they're covering. His team's a very well-coached football team, and that's why they're predicted to win their conference and play at the top of it. So we need to come out of here and we need to play well. We need to get out of the blocks well. But at the same time, we've had a good camp, too. I've been pleased with our offense, our defense, our special teams. And it's time to go play and do the things we need to do. But we've got a big challenge ahead of us. We need to have a great week of preparation. Like I said, our opponent, this is the week 1 opponent, so that's what we have to put all of our focus on now that camp is over with and get ready to play.
Down front, Brent, and then to the left, David.
What went into the decision to have Kenyon Green at right tackle, and I would guess that would mean you feel pretty good about left tackle as well in that situation.
We do, and it's a different person. He can go play left tackle in 2 seconds. He played both in camp, but maybe by Friday I may flip to the left tackle. No, but I think his right side and what they do, he and Layden on that side are very good. Jameer's played a lot of left tackle before, and what he's done, I mean, he's been a left tackle, started up there, so it's a much natural position to him too. Kenyon's very versed on what he does, and with that group up front. So, Luke and everybody else, and the young freshman, and Aki and all those guys, so we can play them on either side. In today's time, I know this sounds crazy. Maybe in pro football it is a little more. College football, left tackle to right tackle isn't that big of a difference. You still got great players on both sides of what you do.
And why did Haynes King ultimately win the starting quarterback?
Consistency, and I think, at the end of the day, everybody says it was his athleticism. No, it was his pocket presence and his ability to throw the football accurately, make decisions. I'm still a firm believer decision-making and accuracy is how you play great football quarterback. And the legs are an added piece of what has to happen and of where you go. And, I mean, he was outstanding in the scrimmages, practice to just get better and better and better, and play with great consistency. I mean, intermediate throws, short game, reads, getting the ball out of his hand in blitzes. I mean, we brought every blitz known to man at him, and I'm a big believer in you have to get him prepared in that regard. Making zone calls, man protection calls, accuracy downfield, deep balls, excellent. Played well, and at the same time, I say that Zach did too. This was not a deal where all right, one guy's good, they kept matching each other, and he just played a little bit better, and that's where we went with it. But very comfortable with both guys and what we're doing, and very happy and anxious to watch them play.
To the left, David, then to the right, Jennifer.
Jimbo, Kenyon talked about the intensity at fall camp, and Isaiah talked a little bit about the chip on their shoulder heading into it. How would you describe the team's focus heading into this first?
Well, I think they understand that if you want to be a great team and you want to be a great player, you have to play with an edge. You have to come with a purpose. You got to come with juice. You got to come ready to play. It don't matter what you've done in the past, how talented you are. This game is about one thing. It's about competition. And when you want to compete, you got to have an edge. You got to have a chip on your shoulder. You've got to be able to play. I'm not meaning a chip on. It's not that you are mad at anything or mad at the world. You just understand the amount of focus, mentally and physically, and the intensity level which you have to play at, and to be successful and win at this level. You understand that what you got to come about with every day to create the habits and allow you to play under pressure and do the things you got to do when it matters. And I think those guys, that experience is starting to show. You're talking about two guys who've started every down, basically almost every down. Isaiah did after a couple games, and Kenyon did from day one. I mean, they understand the level, and that's one of the great things about having veteran players.
To the right, Jennifer, then to the left, Travis.
Hi, Coach Fisher. Jennifer Streeter with the Battalion. We talked a lot with your players about how they want to make a statement in this season opener against Kent State, and that the statement is showing how hard y'all have worked at camp and will serve as a preview for what's to come the rest of the season from y'all. As a head coach, what statement are you looking to make in this game?
We play great, and your opponents, you play like you've practiced. You play like the habits you want to have. And every game, you got 12 times you're allowed to play. The statement is that we're ready to play and we're going to play. It's not that it's Kent State, not that it's Alabama, it's not that it's Georgia, it's not that it's LSU, it's not that it's Colorado the next week. Each opponent has its own purpose and scheme you have to play against, and you have to understand how to do that each and every week you come to compete and play. And the statement is that we want to play well. We want to play our game. We want to do the things we do and understand that the other team is a very good team, and they're going to have their moments, but how we withstand the momentum swings, the maturity in which we play with, but more importantly, the consistency of how we play and the way we play, that we don't have self-inflicted wounds. We play a great physical brand of ball. We're able to capitalize with great skill and make plays when we have to, and play a very sound game in all three phases.
And then on an unrelated note, we've heard a lot about King's speed. In your eyes, how fast would you say he is, and any chance you could pull out that speed from avoiding the Gatorade bath and beat him in a race?
I don't know. He may catch me, but no, he's athletic. I mean, we always hear every time. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that can really run. When a quarterback runs, when you get a real fast one, it's different. There's a lot of guys on our team can run, and he's one of them. And he has good athleticism. I mean, I don't clock him. Like I said, I hope he's fast enough to outrun the guys chasing him.
To the left, Travis, and then Christy.
Hey, Coach, was there any rhyme or reason why Tuesday was the time you had the conversation? Was there something that they did that pushed King over the top right then?
Quarterback announcement.
Yeah. Well, we had our final scrimmage on Sunday, and we're going into starting to do some things and where we wanted to be. And I thought the answer, like I said, I'll know when the answer is there. And after that amount of time, that amount of practice, I felt very comfortable, and our staff felt very comfortable that was the decision we were making. I think the quicker we could make that decision, as far as once we knew, then allows those guys to adjust and see the things and the roles in which we want to play.
And then status of Michael Clemens and McKinley Jackson for
both. Their guys said they're dealing with the school's things. I can't speak about those right now, but that status will we'll keep you updated as we go. We hear from them.
To the right, Christie, and then to the very back, Tyler.
Coach, after
I'm sorry. Oh, there you. I'm sorry.
after having Kellen for so long, are there worries or concerns you have as you start a season with a quarterback that hasn't started a game for you?
No, I mean I have just as many worries about Kellen after he did. Cause at the end of every year, don't matter how many you get him, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I mean, sometimes what does the guy go put too much pressure? Is he going to try too hard? I mean, and I know that sounds crazy, but I've done it long enough that no matter what the first games are, there's always those jitters, there's always those concerns, and you want to dot your I's and cross your T's as a coach to make sure you've done everything possible to put him in the best position to be successful. So, no, I don't. I feel very comfortable about his preparation, the way he's played, but at the same time, it's still first games. And I hate to say it, if I was coaching Joe Montana or Tom Brady, I'd still be nervous. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just what you have. So you've got to trust your coaching, what the young man has done in camp, and what you can do as a team. So, yes, there's those regards.
Goes back behind the lights, Coach Tyler, and then to the right, Battalion.
You talked about the challenges that Kent State brings. What do you need to see from your team in order to have a successful week one?
So we want to play with great intensity, with great focus, with great discipline on our assignments. We have to play great football. We've got to make plays. They have very skilled guys that can throw it and catch it and run it. They block. That quarterback knows where to go with the ball and how to get there. Defensively, their multiplicity of the different blitzes and fronts they have, getting hats on hats, getting communication, doing the things you got to do so you can be successful, eliminate the negative plays and not make them earn everything they get. They're going to make plays. They're a very good football team. We just can't give plays away in all three phases and make sure we take care of the ball and get chances to turn it over on them and play very physical. You got to tackle. The thing about spread teams, you got to tackle well in space. Our tackling, in space, you have to get guys on the ground. You can't, whether you cheat the box or you put extra guys in the box or whatever you do, and there's different people with the way they play. You're always on an island up front or in the back end at different places, so you have to do that. And the same way when you're playing against their defense, the multiplicity of blitzes and things we do, we get hats to hats, can create creases in the run game, protect the quarterback. We got to get open when we run routes, making the right decision. And the special teams, you always worry, all the alternative kicks. They will alternative kick you in 2 seconds. They'll squib one, they'll bloop one, making sure we can cover them, making sure we can get on them. Multiple things they have to do in their punt team, their different formations, making sure we're eligible and we stay locked on those guys. We receive balls, we catch balls, and we cover well. I mean, there's a whole multitude of things, and this is a very experienced team for them. They have, I think, 21 or 22, something like that, over fifth-year graduate guys on their team. They got a ton of. It's a very veteran team.
The right side, Battalion, to the left, Zach.
Howdy, Coach.
And they're very well coached.
How's it going, Coach? More than anyone else, your players today have talked a lot about Leon O'Neal and the role that he plays on the team. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about what he does for the squad.
What they say he did. Hey, I joke about that sometimes. What guys do on a team, a coach knows parts of, you don't always know. I mean, because there's inner workings of a team. Like I say, we manage it and they run it. But I think Leon is really matured. He's really done a great job of creating energy, his leadership. And one thing you can never doubt about Leon, he loves to play ball. He loves to work out. He loves to get preparation to play. He loves to play, and he loves being at Texas A&M. And that energy is infectious. I mean, it can create the juice, and you got to have those guys, man. That you can see every day they love what they're doing because football's a game that's tough. You know what I mean? And sometimes, and they have different personalities. Some guys feel sorry for themselves one day because they're tired or sore. It's just whatever team I've been on. You never see that with Leon. I mean, he's always got juice. He's always playing. He's always going hard, the things he has, and I think his leadership and from that role has been really big. I don't know if that's what they said, but I mean, he loves being on that football field.
Absolutely. Just one more question about him. I know he likes to make a statement, especially on the field, like wearing orange gloves in last year's Halloween game. Have you seen any of those? What's been your favorite thing that you've seen from him?
We try to keep him down and keep him in the mode. And listen, I'm in camp, man. I don't see a lot. I mean, right now we've been in drive mode. And in camp, they don't try to make statements. They just try to make sure they get things done the right way.
Go to the left, Zach, and then to the right, Olin.
Jimbo, the SEC announced today that it would kind of take up what a lot of other conferences have, and that's if a team was unable to play because of COVID-19, they would have to forfeit that conference game. Is that something that you
do what now?
So if a team is unable to play because of COVID-19, if they have an outbreak or cases, then they will have to forfeit that week's game instead of playing against the team that they were scheduled. So there would not be a makeup game in that case.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thoughts on that, and I say this. Listen, COVID is here. It's here to stay. And there's people getting it that are vaccinated and doing everything right. I mean, I hate that part of what we're doing. I mean, I do because I think could be something, now, hopefully it doesn't, hope nobody gets it, hope that doesn't happen. But when you're doing everything right, and you've done everything, and you've been vaccinated, you've had your booster shots, you've tried to keep the protocols, and they do, I think that's a very tough thing to swallow. But listen, the rules are the rules, they are what they are, and they go. And then I can understand that if it's something that is out of our control, if there's been sloppiness or things of that nature, they haven't done everything to prevent that. But that's a very tough thing to swallow when you're doing everything right and you get it. You know what I'm saying? And it can come from anywhere, because we don't know. We're still finding out so much about this disease, thing. We're getting COVID because we don't know. I mean, we've had it. I mean, we've had people. I mean, you see people now who have been vaccinated and actually had it, getting it again. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and they're trying to stay clean. So I mean, that's a tough thing to me. I mean, when you're forfeiting, take a guy's dreams away, but hey, it is the rules. It is what it is, and listen, I'm not in charge. We play by the rules.
To the right, Olin, and then to the back, behind the lights.
Yeah, Jimbo, I understand you said you're not too concerned about first-year starter at quarterback, but I do wonder if you're in a position, if you find yourself in a position with a first-year starter and a true freshman at center, are you?
Well, you got Luke in there place. Luke's not a true freshman.
I understand that, but I also
Well, if he gets in there and plays, no. I mean, listen, those guys are on scholarship. Right? That's the world. That's the way of the world today. Listen, you got freshmen play. This is not like it was 15, 20 years ago. I go back and I used to tell them guys all the time, I tell our guys to have patience. You go back to the late 70s, 80s, and early 90s, there was a run, and I can't remember. It's 18 out of 19, 17 out of 18, whoever. Whoever had the most juniors and seniors won the SEC. You know, guys never got to see the field. They were redshirt sophomores and juniors. You know how many transfers I'd have if I didn't see the field between redshirt, if you didn't get to play as a redshirt sophomore or junior? I mean, some do. I mean, those days are different. So to say, you got a freshman here, a freshman there, a freshman, guys, that's just the nature of the beast. And these kids are a totally different animal as far as their preparation and their knowledge of the game and their physical skills to come in and play. Some guys are blessed like that. I mean, I can name you 3 linemen I had at Auburn. I can remember often, Willie Anderson, Victor Riley, and Kendall Simmons all started as true freshmen, all first-round picks. When they play as freshmen, you thought they were fourth-year juniors. I mean, you know, so certain guys are like, you know, Foster's a very physical guy and very smart guys. And we wouldn't put guys in there, not only are they not only ready physically, they're not ready mentally. If we put them in that depth chart and we're ready to go, we feel very comfortable with them playing. I don't try to worry about that. I really don't.
Yeah, that's why I was going with that on the communication part.
It does. I mean, but we've done it every day in practice. I mean, they get that communication in practice, or Bryce doing it with another guy or whatever it is. I mean, that is, in today's time, man, that's forced out there and so much more. But, you know, again, you don't ever know if they get into those bright lights. But at the same time, I'd be shocked if those guys weren't, if they were playing that, and they weren't played very well, because they have to on camp against some really good people on the other side.
Go to the back behind the lights, Mike, and then down front, Cole.
Coach, when you have a young quarterback starting his first collegiate game, how important is it for the veteran playmakers around him to kind of step up and make these jobs?
Well, I think that's a given. I think that's, they have to be where they're supposed to be, do the things they got to do, get open, and allow him to get in his groove and play his game, and that's always very important. I mean, there's no doubt about that, and that's their responsibility, just like they went through it. So, hopefully they'll do that and play well, which, from camp, I think we will.
Time for a couple more down front, Cole, and then to the left, Travis.
Hey, Coach, just you have a new 12th man in Connor. What did you see from him, and what was the exact things that made him stand out as the true recipient?
First and foremost, when you're talking about the 12th man, you're talking about an outstanding human being. I mean, you're talking about a guy who stands for all the right things about what's right, him as a human being, the way he does things, the character he does things with, the quality things, the understanding of who the 12th man is and what the history of it is, and all the traditions and all the things that go on, and they truly love Texas A&M, first and foremost. And secondly, a guy who comes to work every day on special teams. And remember, he was a scholarship guy that left a scholarship to come here to walk on because he wanted to be at Texas A&M. And it's always been a kickoff guy or something like that, but the special teams world, there's some other guys, just because they don't cover a kickoff, who snaps the ball each and every play. There's not a guy more vital on our team. You ever heard his name? Nope. That means a real good thing. Like, I hate to say that. When you're a long snapper, you don't hear his name, that's a good thing, because that means it's not a bad snap, it's not a bad situation. And that's only bad, and then, like I told him, and I'm going to tell you what, I've been around him a long time. That guy's as good as anybody I've been around snapping football. His accuracy, his snaps, the things he does, and then the way he represents himself. And I'm going to tell you this, he brings an infectious energy to practice every day. He's got juice, he's fun to be around, he's always in a good mood, he affects the other guys in a positive. So I can't think of a guy who's a very high character person. one of the best. You put the ball in his hands on every snap, whether it's a punt or a field goal or some kind of PAT or something of that nature. Who does it as well as anybody I've ever been around, and then who affects his teammates in such a positive way each and every day, and the way he represents himself and has great love, and gave up a scholarship to come here and be part of us and be able to walk on. Everything has issues. There's no perfect players, there's no perfect people, there's no perfect anything. Well, I'll tell you what, there's not a better country in the world than ours, and what we stand for and what we love, and the people who support it, the people who defend it. Freedom is not free. There's a lot of people who pay a lot of prices, and a lot of people who pay those things that are going on with 9/11, all the different things that are going on in our world, and we can't forget that. And to me, we wouldn't be sitting here doing what we're doing without those people who have sacrificed and give us the ability to have the freedoms in which we have, and my utmost respect and dignity for them, and to remember all those folks and remember our country and what we're here for, because at the end of the day, we're still in a beautiful country. No matter there's issues we got to fix, we got to get better, and there will be to the end of time. That's like a team. There's no, like my team, no matter how much I coach it, how much I do it, there's always going to be something that can get better, and there's always something that needs taken care of. There's always somebody that got, I got to get more to help out. That's just the way the world is. But we're in a great place, and I think we must always remember that and remember where we are and the people who have allowed that to happen. And my utmost respect for those folks.